Hello and welcome back to Paranormal Talk Podcast. I am your host, Espy Hernandez, and tonight we are taking your calls. Seen a cryptid? Seen a ghost? Call in. We got a caller in from Texas. His name is Art. Okay, Art, you're a go.
Hi there, Espy. I'm calling because I've been seeing a Bigfoot in my yard, and it's he's pretty big, and I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm just having myself a smoke and a beer, and oh shit, wait, hold on, I'm hearing some noises right now.
Is everything okay over there?
Oh god damn, it's the Bigfoot. Oh shit, he got a bat. Oh, he beat me. Ow, fight me like a man, Bigfoot. Fight me like a goddamn man. Oh shit, now he beat me with his arms. Worse.
Are you okay,
he's
sir?
showing me mercy. Oh, Lord Jesus, come down and strike this monstrosity. Oh, God damn
Sir?
it.
Hello? That was a weird call. Oh, God.
Welcome, faithful viewers, to another episode of Umbry and Espy Spooky Hour. I am your gracious host, Umbry.
And I am your other host, Espy.
And once again, welcome to another episode of Umbry and Espy Spooky Hour.
Ooh.
We got after a very long hiatus, we are back on track. To start things off, I would like to announce once again, I did announce it on the Facebook page, but we are planning a very, very special month next month for, since it's Halloween next month. New episodes every week with a special episode release on Halloween. So look forward to that, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow our Facebook, YouTube, Twitter for all the awesome updates.
I think we should also mention that all those special things that we're going to be doing for the month of Halloween isn't going to be restricted to audio. We're also going to be doing a lot of video stuff as well.
That's right. I did think I mentioned in the first episode I do live in St. Augustine.
Yep.
And it is one of the most haunted cities in the United States. I take so much pride in living here. I'm actually a hop, skip, and a jump away from Old Town, so I could be probably taking a lot of trips down there. Touring the old jail, touring the Castillo de San Marcos, which I have been there several times. Oh Lord, I get so creeped out in some parts of that fort. But St. George Street is amazing. It's beautiful. I love the people down there. Anyway, living or dead.
And I live in very spooky California, so I will be going around filming random celebrities that will be walking up and down my streets. I am just kidding. I am not going to be doing that. Oh, God. So, let's start off the show. What is the topic for tonight,
Tonight, we are going to be covering cryptids.
Ooh.
Cryptids. This is a topic that I think both me and Espy have been excited for.
Oh, definitely.
I think actually cryptids were one of the earliest topics I started to research. So I feel comfortable in doing a lot of this. I had a particularly difficult time trying to narrow it down to two main cryptids to do my reports on. So
yeah, I know there's so much choice for all the different cryptids.
God,
it's crazy.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you got spirits, you got different spirits. I mean, we could be doing famous ones, like the Amityville Horror, the Enfield Poltergeist, Annabelle the Doll.
Exactly.
There's just so many spirits, so many ghosts, so many haunted artifacts that we could report on. But I don't know, I found it harder to just pick two cryptids, which is why, in addition to my two main cryptids, to which I will be reporting on, I'm also going to be doing little mini reports on different cryptids, which I feel deserve some special shout-outs.
Alright then, sounds good. And for our listeners who aren't exactly familiar with the word cryptid, can you please explain to us what that is?
Alright, cryptozoology. At the moment, it is a pseudoscience, pseudo meaning false science, with the goal of identifying and describing beings from both folklore and fossil records, which cryptozoologists refer to as cryptids. I mean, these include creatures that could be considered otherwise extinct, or, beings from folklore. Famous examples being Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, Chupacabra, fairies, all sorts.
Makes sense.
Which, I mean, some of these I could feel like they did survive. The Missing Link. I mean, what was it? 2005? They found a Hobbit-like missing link to us.
Right.
Yeah. What were the name of those? They did find something like that. It's a missing link. They died out, obviously.
Yeah. So, just to clarify a little bit,
Homo floresinas. I think I failed Latin.
What'd you call me?
You heard me. I called you a hobbit.
So, just to clarify, just a little bit, a cryptid doesn't necessarily have to be something that is undiscovered. Cryptids have been proven real in the past. For example, from listverse.com, we have 10: the devilbird, the Ziphius, the bondagezo, kangaroo, platypus, sea serpent, Komodo dragon, mountain gorilla, okapi, which is like a mixture of a horse and a zebra stripes on the bottom of the legs, and the giant squid.
Colossal squid as well.
Yeah.
Those were thought to have been the kraken, I believe.
So this topic doesn't strictly go with Bigfoot, Mothman, and all those other paranormal-esque creatures that you hear about.
But backtracking, Bigfoot could definitely be the missing link, or another subspecies of humans that kind of just derived from the main course. So I mean, I think there were reports of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals living together at one point. Eventually, the Neanderthals proved to be the weaker of the two subspecies, and Homo sapiens moved on.
Bigfoot cried when Harambe died. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. So, what is your first cryptid of choice then, Art?
Oh, after many hours of pining over which ones I should do, I decided to do something that borders both on the supernatural and something that could be considered just an undiscovered species of animal. Hellhounds. These things have always interested me. They did fall out of my interest range, but after watching Supernatural, and Crowley has his hellhound, and they're just depicted to be invisible, and then Sam having to kill a hellhound as one of the trials of God for the demon tablet. I don't know, hellhounds.
I thought that show was just about two homosexual brothers, according to Tumblr.
As SB, you know as well as I do, we shouldn't take Tumblr for facts.
That is true. Okay, sorry for interrupting.
They're the prime example of don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's take a look at what hellhounds are. Hellhounds are supernatural dogs that are derived from folklore, which falls under cryptozoology. These creatures have been just talked about and told about all over the world. Most famously would be Christianity. Hellhounds. There's European legends claim that if someone stares into a hellhound's eyes 3 times or more, that person will surely die. So if you run into that hellhound 3 times or more, each time you stare into its eyes, you're gonna die. They also supposedly have supernatural abilities, going so far as they associate with fire. They might have fire-based abilities or appearances, such as if you see a hellhound and you go back the next day, there are burned paw prints in cement, grass, whatever it was walking on. I didn't even mention the features of a hellhound. Obviously, black fur, glowing red, maybe yellow eyes sometimes. Obviously the sign of demonic possession or demonic origin, or, Fido just ate a whole tin of pot brownies.
Okay.
Super strength or speed, ghostly or phantom characteristics, foul odor, something akin to rotten eggs, aka sulfur.
Sulfur, right.
And even the ability to talk. I've actually heard that some tales of hellhounds claim that they did talk, but they talked telepathically, so via the mind.
Right.
For those who aren't too well known on that. Anyway, supposedly these things are they're guards, like guard dogs, like what we have in our world. They supposedly guard entrances to the world of the dead, like graveyards, burial grounds, or they have other duties related to the afterlife or the supernatural. Such as, I do believe that there are some legends that hellhounds pretty much play Grim Reaper, or they collect the souls that, sell your soul to Satan. Hellhound comes a knocking and brings your soul, collects the due. Let's see, there's a rather famous tale of a hellhound. It's the Black Dog of Bungay. And this takes place in the 16th century England. So, way back in the day. On Sunday, August 4th, 1577, a terrible thunderstorm broke out in the town of Bungay. A storm pretty much described with the adjectives darkness, rain, hell, thunder, and lightning, as was never seen before the like. I mean, if they were in Florida, you'd see it every hurricane season.
Wow.
The townsfolk in Bungay, they lived in little thatched cottages. So these cottages didn't stand up to the forces of nature.
Right.
I could probably compare this to the tale of the Three Little Pigs. The little pig with the house made of straw, and the little pig with the house made of sticks.
Right.
Dumbasses. Right? Who builds their houses like that? I'm kidding.
Pigs do, obviously.
Okay, and so back in those days, everyone was like super religious. So where do you go when there's a huge storm and you feel like that you're going to be safe? You're going to go to church.
Oh, yeah,
and
that makes sense.
St. Mary's Church, the religious heart of the town, they would go there. They would go there and pray, pray for guidance, pray for protection. They were obviously hoping for some angel or a messenger of God to come down. But, you know what? Fuck that. That wouldn't make it a good story. Lightning struck the church, and what appeared before the doors was a giant black hound. Just, you could imagine the surprise that these town folks have seen. These Christ-bearing townsfolk. They're hoping for God or an angel or Jesus himself to just come down and help out.
Some sort of positive message.
Exactly. Nope, they just get Satan's favorite pet. Apparently, there is what happens afterward is best described by the following olden verse. All down the church in midst of fire, the hellish monster flew, and passing onward to the choir, he many people slew. So it
killed a bunch of people.
Yep. I mean, it probably didn't get its rocks off just by looking terrible. Nope, it just ran in, literally tearing people's throats out.
Play of the game.
Strangling the worshippers with its front paws. And according to eyewitness reports, heat radiated from this dog. And it was apparently so hot, it vaporized anyone nearby.
Yikes.
And then, after it got its fill of, eating trustworthy churchgoers, it disappeared. And apparently reappeared 12 miles farther at the Blytheburg Church, where it once again resumed its brutal activities and
so not
killing
just one,
more innocent lives.
2 churches? That's insane.
Yep.
Wow.
But, this is just a tale. Apparently the records show that a huge thunderstorm did break out on that date, and that 2 people were killed at the Belfry. But there are obviously no
reports of a demon dog coming and killing
everybody. However, the Blytheburg Church has several scratches made on its north entrance. Allegedly, these were made by the claws of that same black dog that we just talked about.
Damn.
Yeah, so hellhounds, I don't know, if you dig around, you could probably find more tales of hellhounds. Like, dogs to humans, they're protectors, they're friends, and just to have something like this, dude, get out of here. This is I mean, honestly, I could see hellhounds existing, but let's take a look at this. Black-furred animals have always held a bit of taboo.
Right.
So, it's obvious that, someone didn't like black dogs, and they hated them to the point where they just started saying that they were the hounds of Satan.
Right.
And, you know how if you shine a light in an animal's eyes, they'll, glow?
Right.
So, imagine some poor soul, just hearing about how black dogs are the hounds of Satan, carrying a torch or a lantern, just walking down the road, hears something behind him, turns around, and there's the dog. Just imagine, there's a dog, just swam. You know how dogs smell after they swim?
Right.
They reek. Just wet dog smell, and then the torch catches in the dog's eyes, so it looks like the dog's eyes are glowing yellow or glowing red.
Right.
Rumor spreads around, mouth the word, and then you just got this whole, just people freaking out. Hellhounds have always fascinated me because they could exist, but then again, as to the point of them being supernatural, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about that. And I know most...
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Espy. What's that?
No, go ahead.
I know our show is mostly just talking about, just for proof, but as much as I'm interested in hellhounds, I honestly would not be disappointed if they were proven to have never existed at all. Just because, given the taboo of black-furred animals since God knows when, it could just been someone hated black-furred animals to the point where they convinced an entire nation that they were the hounds of Satan himself. If you see a black cat cross your path this Halloween, pet it.
Yeah, it's not. Nothing's gonna happen to you. I guarantee it.
For love.
And if something does happen to you, then blame RNG.
And tell us. We'll have you on the show. Yeah,
and tell us, and we'll interview you. I swear. Wow. So, yeah, I've heard stories of black dogs before. Usually, showing up after somebody has died. Usually showing up around cemeteries, especially showing up at night. And it seems kind of scary to me because I have a big dog. I have a German Shepherd, and to me, he's a little baby. He likes to act like a little puppy still. But I've seen him turn on people, or, for example, he's super protective of me. And this one time I was walking him, and one of my neighbors was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we were chatting, and he put his hand on me, and my dog just started going crazy and barking at him. And I was like, whoa, calm down. So imagining my big dog, but maybe even bigger and with super strength, it's a terrifying image in my head, definitely.
And I mean, I know it's true for humans. You get that adrenaline pumping, and we can, apparently we have enough strength. Apparently our bones are about as strong as steel.
Right.
That's what I've heard. But you get that adrenaline pumping, we get super strength to where we could like literally lift cars off of us if we had that enough adrenaline. So in that instance, I think I don't know. Do dogs have adrenaline?
That I'm not sure.
Do they produce it? I'm actually not sure. If they did produce adrenaline, they would probably have that same effects. I don't. You know what? I'm gonna look that up right now.
Well, while you're looking that up, we also have bulldogs. I mean, not bulldogs, pit bulls that are naturally aggressive because they're bred to be fighting dogs, and on top of that, their jaws lock when they bite you. So you can imagine how somebody was getting bit by a dog and their dog's jaw locked. You could kind of mistake that for super strength, when in reality, it's just stuck.
Yes, dogs produce adrenaline.
Oh, well, there you go. We just solved the hellhound crisis of whatever. We did it, fam.
Woo!
All right.
Debunked.
All right, we
We'll
did
have
it.
a big debunk.
If anybody
Sticker just popped up.
if anybody wants to argue with us, hit us up on Twitter at UNE Spook Hour. That is at UNE Spook Hour. And if you want to argue, just go ahead, do it. I'll take you down, mate.
Please give us some much needed traffic on our Twitter.
Yes, please. All right, so does that conclude your hellhounds?
I do believe that concludes my hellhounds.
All right, sweet. So I guess let's go to my topic. I am going to be talking about the bunyip today.
The bunyip. I've never heard of the bunyip.
You've never heard of the bunyip?
Yeah, this one's new to me.
All right, well, this one's originating from Australia. So we're going to the outback for this one. Part of Aboriginal folklore, the bunyip was a spirit which inhabited the rivers, lakes, swamps, and billabongs of Australia. The bunyip was said to be malevolent towards humans, then would defend its water home from anyone foolish enough to enter it. At night, the bunyip was said to prey upon the women and children of Aboriginal tribes. To the Aborigines, the bunyip was a beast of many shapes and different sizes. Some bunyips were covered in feathers, some even had scales like crocodiles. Common features in most Aboriginal drawings of bunyips are a horse-like tail, flippers, and tusks like the one found on walruses. Modern bunyips, or at least those reported by the original settlers as well as today's residents of Australia, vary greatly from the bunyip or Aboriginal stories. The Aboriginal bunyip was a fierce man-killer, whereas the more modern view sees them as herbivorous, grazing animals. So, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Bunyips could definitely be real creatures based on that. Obviously, since they probably look terrifying, the tribes probably just made some crazy-ass stories, and they look terrifying. Which probably could just have been a defense mechanism.
Exactly.
Tree frogs. Tree frogs. They're brightly colored. That shows animals
but they're venomous.
Poisonous.
Right, my bad.
Venomous is bite. Poisonous is you consume it.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Just maybe the bunyips are completely harmless and evolution just has them evolve to look like they're menacing predators, just to show predators, hey, fuck off, mate.
Right.
I'm a predator.
So, at the same time, there's a lot of theories that it's just a herbivorous animal that inhabited Australia before the settlers came. It was I forget what the name was. I could look it up, but it was the
British.
Yeah. It was a herbivorous
British prisoners.
Yeah. It was a herbivorous creature that went extinct around 10,000 years ago, so it wouldn't be that too long. So, going on. Based on eyewitness reports, there are two different kinds of bunyip. The first being the more common dog-faced bunyip, said to have the face like a dog and a shaggy coat. And the second being the long-necked bunyip, said to have the long-haired mane and a similar shaggy coat. The dog-faced bunyip is thought to inhabit the lakes and rivers of New South Wales, Victoria, and the Australian Capital Territory. There have been sightings off the shore of island of Tasmania as well. Reports of the rare long-necked bunyip, though, seem to only come from New South Wales. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
So even though two people are citing similar creatures, it sounds like only New South Wales gets the long-necked one, which is kind of creepy to think about.
Yeah, evolutionary traits.
No, not just that. Longer is better, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh my. You get all the lady bunyips, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. So, this one was an interesting cryptid to research. A lot of eyewitness reports were from early settlers, and usually when I see those, I immediately call bullshit, because early settlers did not know shit.
Probably ate some weird-ass Australian outback mushroom that gave them hallucinations or something.
Right, exactly. But every single site I visited supposedly had more modern sightings, but I wasn't able to find anything that was listed. So I had to go with the 1800s ones, so bear with me on this. Here are some eyewitness reports. In 1847, a young herdsman saw a long-necked bunyip grazing while he was looking for some cows in a flooded area. A local settler, George Hobbler, reported the young herdsman's story to the Sydney Morning Herald. According to the report made by Hobbler, it was about as big as a 6-month-old calf, of a dark brown color, a long neck, and long pointed head. It had large ears which pricked up when it perceived him, had a thick mane of hair from the head down to the neck, and 2 large tusks. He turned to run away, and this creature, equally alarmed, ran off too, and from a glance he describes it as having an awkward shambling gallop. The forequarters of the animal were very large in proportion to the hindquarters, and it had a large tail. With that said, can you imagine an animal in the animal kingdom that we've discovered that fits that description?
Could I hear the description once more? I'm looking it up on Google Images, and this thing looks like a damn Pokemon.
Alright, here it is again. It had a thick mane of hair from the head down to the neck, 2 large tusks, and the forequarters of the animal were very large in proportion to the hindquarters, and it had a large tail.
And it had tusks.
Yeah.
Sounds like a walrus.
Right?
A very shaggy walrus.
Yeah. Sounds exactly like a walrus.
So you think this could be like a subspecies of a walrus?
Sounds about right.
Like walruses migrated to the warmer climates of Australia. Obviously, evolution kicked in. It
Either that or it probably had some seaweed stuck to its head. The question is, do walruses even inhabit this part of Australia? I have no idea. I didn't check it out, but I should have.
No, they seem to prefer the cold, if I remember correctly. But also apparently there are bunyips in RuneScape, so.
Yeah, I saw that too. Fuck RuneScape. Anyway, so he took 2 men to the place next morning to look for its track, which they described broad and square, similar to the handprint of a man. Similar to the handprint a man would make in the soft muddy ground. So it left a handprint essentially.
Espy, to answer your question, the walrus's habitats are the North Pole, in the Arctic Ocean and subarctic seas in the Northern Hemisphere.
Exactly.
They would be nowhere near Australia unless some migrated down there, decided to live there, and, they evolved.
Maybe, but at the same time, I didn't, from the description, I can't tell if by the forequarters of the animal were very large in proportion to the hindquarters. There's no mention of hooves, hands, legs, or anything like that. So, given that fact, I still don't know what animal we could really compare it to.
So we really just need to wait for more eyewitness reports of this thing.
Exactly. So here's the second one. In 1852, a dog-faced bunyip was observed in Lake Tiberias, Tasmania. It was described with a head like a bulldog and black shaggy fur. While rowing across Great Lake, Tasmania. Charles Headlam and a friend almost bumped into a dog-faced bunyip. They described it as about being the size of a fully grown sheepdog and having 2 small wing-like flippers. See, this one does have flippers. The bunyip stayed on top of the water until it swam out of view. In 1872, 3 men watched dog-faced bunyip swimming in Midgion Lagoon, New South Wales, for about half an hour. One of the men gave the following first-hand description to the Wagga Wagga Advertiser. Well, that was a mouthful.
Wagga
half as
Wagga.
long, yep, half as long again as an ordinary retriever dog. The hair all over its body was jet black and shining. Its coat was very long. The hair spreading out on the surface of the water was about 5 inches and floating loosely as the creature rose and fell by its own motion. I could not detect any tail, and the hair about its head was too long and glossy to admit my seeing its eyes. That was written weird. The ears were well marked.
Are you sure you aren't looking at a picture of me from sophomore year?
Yeah, probably. In 1872, were you in... Wait, where is this? Midgion Lagoon, New South Wales, you son of a bitch.
Maybe. Who's asking?
Me. And...
and the rest of the world. Oh, you got me. I was there. I am the bunyip. I just felt like fucking with y'all.
Another mystery solved on the Umbry and Espy podcast. The bunyip was art all along. And again, if you want to talk shit or dispute this, hit me up on Twitter. See what happens, scrub. That's at wait, what was the thing again? At UNE Spook Hour.
At UNE Spook Hour on Twitter.
I will call you a bitch. I don't care. You can cry. You can do whatever you want. I'll probably be banned from Twitter. I don't care. Motherfucker. You come at me. I got files on top of files.
And by files on top of files, he just means his Playboy collection.
That's true. Sorry. So come at me, motherfucker. I want to see you try. All right. So what's your second one, my friend?
All right. Let's take a break and let's talk about one of my little mini ones.
Okay.
Because you just reminded me, the Loveland frog. Now, the Loveland frog. It's got its origins in Loveland, Ohio.
Right. That's why it's named.
Yeah, I'm actually from Michigan, so this is actually pretty close to home for me. Anyway, the Loveland frog is a humanoid frog standing roughly at about 4 feet tall, and it's literally, looking at the pictures, it is literally a 4 foot tall frog standing on its hind legs. Like, I mean, I was telling my girlfriend about this the other night, and I showed her a picture of it.
Must be nice.
She compared it to that boy. Oh shit, it's that boy. What up?
So that's where it went off to, huh?
Yep, that boy is in Loveland, Ohio, causing terror. Its most recent sighting, which is actually the reason why I decided to make this little shout out. August 6th, 2016. There's an August 4th or August 6th. 2 teenagers playing Pokemon Go stumbled upon what they described as a frog standing on its hind legs, walking like a human.
Holy shit. Did you just say Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go.
So this was this year?
This year.
Holy shit.
Just a couple months ago.
Go on. Tell me.
Obviously, they were just beta testers, and there's a Polytoad. Yeah, obviously they did not catch it as it got away. But you know what? People have been finding lots of weird shit from Pokemon Go. Like that one girl found a dead, decomposing body.
Right.
And then I think the first night Pokemon Go came out, a young teenager walked into a bad part of his neighborhood and was murdered.
Right, and then there was those people that got lured, literally, to a Pokestop, and they got mugged. And Actually, a video recently came out of some kid like walking through Central Park at night, and you just see some guy in the background come up and just slam him to the ground and rob him.
What?
Yeah, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
He was broadcasting live to Twitch at the time, and he got mugged.
What
and it's really sad.
There another Pokemon Go story. I can't remember the YouTuber, but he was live streaming Pokemon Go. He witnessed a murder, and he was chased by the murderer because the murderer saw him.
Yikes!
Yeah, and he was called the police. He was still on his live stream. Obviously, the camera, you didn't see his camera, but you could see his avatar just walking down the street.
He was like, "Oh shit!" Okay, enough Pokemon Go. I'm sorry,
we're getting a little off topic. That's alright, That's alright. We can't be talking about weird shit all the time. Alright, I'm gonna go on to my next topic. My main topic. I still have a couple little other mini ones, which I will get to later.
Sweet.
This guy is rather famous, and we've mentioned him a couple times earlier in the episode. One of the most famous cryptids to have ever graced our Earth. Bigfoot.
Oh, the guy who killed the other guy in the intro.
Yes.
Oh God. Okay,
that very same guy.
Holy
he told me
shit.
that I'm next if I did not cover it. Bigfoot. The man, the myth, the legend. And we are covering him today on Umbry and Espy Spooky Hour.
Will we finally be able to debunk him like we did everybody else? Stay tuned. No, seriously, keep listening. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone knows about Bigfoot. How do I even begin this? Another name for the Bigfoot is Sasquatch.
Yes.
Jeez. 1967, the Patterson-Gimlin film, one of the most famous reels of footage of all time, shows a very clear, one of the clearest videos of Bigfoot walking across, and you can very clearly see. Of course, there's skeptics saying it's a guy saying that it's a man in a gorilla suit, which,
right.
Who knows? But to me, I think it looks rather real. Bigfoot. Where do I even begin with Bigfoot? Everyone knows Bigfoot. Let's see. Bigfoot is roughly about 6'7" to 9'10" tall.
Jesus.
Covered in hair described as black, dark brown, or dark reddish. Apparently they're omnivores and they're mainly nocturnal. I've heard theories that Bigfoot is a missing link, and I've also heard theories that it is there is a species of ape called Gigantopithecus, and they have been believed to have been extinct. They were a link, but who's to say that some did not survive and just reproduced and they're hiding.
Yep.
They're very good at hiding. Hide and seek world champ. Take that, Osama. Man, there are a lot of stories about Bigfoot. I don't think we could cover them all in one night, to be honest. I do have a book. It's called Weird Michigan, and since I did live in Michigan, obviously this was a gift to me. And there are tales about Bigfoot in here, which I'm trying to find. Oh, jeez. I have a bizarre beast. That'll probably be it. 76. Alright. Bigfoot definitely does exist. And apparently he's in Michigan. One of the stories that has intrigued me the most about Bigfoot, because most Bigfoot stories you hear, it's a Bigfoot out in the woods while father and son are camping. Someone just walking through the woods and they see it. They go back later and they find Bigfoot's footprints. You don't ever see a lot of stories about interactions with Bigfoot, which is what this story stuck out to me the most. Alright, so 1965, Rose Owen and her 17-year-old daughter, Christine Van Acker, received the shock of their lives one night along a rural road in Monroe County. I think I've been there, don't count me on that. A tall, hairy, man-like creature stepped right in front of their speeding vehicle and caused them to break into a skid, just grazing the animal. Literally doing almost no damage, probably took off some fur. I'm not sure. Grazing the animal as it stopped in the middle of the road next to... This beast stopped right next to their now stalled car. This creature was pissed off. I mean, I guess I can understand. I mean, I almost got ran over a few times. I was pretty pissed off too. This creature rushed at the women before they had time to roll up their windows. It reached into the vehicle, punched Christine in the jaw, and slammed Rose's head against the car interior before loping off into the woods.
What the hell? So it actually physically engaged them and assaulted them?
Not assault. I mean, they attacked first. This was self-defense, or what the creature felt like self-defense. Both of the women took lie detector tests. Christine failed, but Rose passed. And both of them were examined and found to have bruises, and in Rose's case, 2 black eyes.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that story stuck out to me the most, because you don't hear a lot of Bigfoot tales about that.
Right.
And of course, like with most creatures, you have the young, you have the adults, and you also have elderly. Apparently, an elderly Bigfoot was spotted in 1987 in Sanilac County in Michigan. And according to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization website, a woman had been trying to sleep on a hot night in August, but her dog kept barking along with all the other neighbors' dogs within hearing range. She heard a rustling sound outside her open bedroom window, and she peeked out and saw a monkey-type creature step onto her front lawn from nearby trees. Hunched over, it stood about 5 feet tall and was covered with whitish fur and had narrow shoulders like a human, but with longer arms. This is unlike the other descriptions of most Bigfoots. This creature had no hair on its ape-like face, and the woman was able to see it squint and wrinkle up its forehead as it walked into the light cast by a yard lamp. The forehead was slanted like a monkey's. She added that the slant comprising about half of its facial feature. The creature continued walking on 2 legs, holding its left hand higher as if it were injured or hurting. The woman ran to alert her father, who grabbed a gun and a flashlight and headed for the yard. But by the time he got out there, the creature was gone and could not be found. I became scared and believed that the creature could have easily climbed a tree, she said. If it did, it stayed there until the coast was clear and has not been reported since. So, like with most species, there are definitely elderly Bigfoot. Coast to Coast. They did a show on Bigfoot once, and they brought in a Bigfoot expert. Apparently, the reason we don't see a lot of Bigfoot, we have never seen any Bigfoot carcasses, is that, like mountain gorillas. You know, when mountain gorillas die, they isolate themselves and go off to a designated burial site, where all the other mountain gorillas before them have gone. It's theorized that Bigfoot practice that same routine. That when Bigfoot are, they know they're going to die, they're going to go to that designated dying place in that area. I heard about this a few years ago on Coast to Coast. You can probably find a copy of it somewhere. But actually, I think we covered Coast to Coast. No, we didn't. Yeah, in our Aliens, which we have yet to release.
We have not released due to technical difficulties, but we may. We'll see.
Sometime in the future.
Yeah.
We covered Coast to Coast in the Aliens episode.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite paranormal talk shows. I was actually about to ask you, like, if Bigfoot are so big, like, why is it that they're so elusive and so hard to spot?
Well, I do believe that Bigfoot are very intelligent. Probably not as intelligent as humans, but I do believe that they are intelligent because other apes have shown levels of intelligence. I mean, hell, the mountain gorilla eluded us for so long before we were able to discover that it indeed is a creature that does exist.
Right, and the mountain gorilla was a cryptid at one point, as I said earlier at the beginning of the episode when I listed off all those animal names.
Yep. I mean, there are plenty of creatures out there that we have yet to discover. Just because a creature is big doesn't mean that it doesn't know how to hide.
Right.
Could very well be that this creature is just hiding, and we have yet to discover its true habitat and where it goes.
And hopefully one of these days we actually answer that question, whether Bigfoot is real or not.
I do believe we're getting close to that. Like, we could talk all night about Bigfoot, but yeah, I know we got other topics to cover.
Yeah, I've heard so many theories on Bigfoot. I've heard that Bigfoot is psychic, Bigfoot is an alien. What other things? So many supposed Bigfoot experts actually communicating with Bigfoots and, Bigfoot juveniles. I think my favorite Bigfoot piece of, I guess, I wouldn't even say it's evidence, but like alleged evidence. Okay, let's go with that. Some woman recorded like weird howls or growls coming from the woods, and her dogs were terrified, and just shit like that scares me. Bigfoot could either be a very scary topic or it could be a very intriguing topic, because when you think about strength that monkeys and gorillas have over us, now just imagine like something bigger than that, what kind of strength they would have. And with your story where Bigfoot actually, went ahead and defended itself and actually physically harmed those women, it's kind of a scary thought to think what would happen if you were to encounter such an elusive thing. Would they ever even find you in that case?
But I mean, it reacted like any wild animal would do if it were harmed, or it felt like it were harmed, or its life was in danger. Yeah, even most humans would react like that if they felt their lives were in danger.
Yeah.
So I mean, mostly if you leave Bigfoot alone, he'll leave you alone.
I think my favorite also Bigfoot happenings, well, it could be attributed to Bigfoot or not. It's the disappearances in like national parks, where you have people who would otherwise unable to get to certain locations, like people who are mentally disabled, young, like little kids,
right,
or possibly even too old to get to certain locations. Like, they were last seen at this campsite and they were found, I don't know, like 100 miles away, like across the mountain. Like, I love it. I mean, I'd love to attribute that to like Bigfoot. I've heard stories about a little kid who was found like crap load of miles away from where he disappeared, completely clean, completely 100% okay, as if he had been fed. Keep in mind, he had been gone for, I think, days or like weeks, and the only thing he could say was that the big hairy man was taking care of him.
I have heard stories about children being kidnapped by Sasquatches, and to be honest, given our height and given Bigfoot's height, we probably just look like it's young.
Probably.
So he's a human, a human adult. It's young. We look like one of its young. So it's gonna take us under its wing per se, and raise us.
Yeah.
Because
I wonder if there's like a pack of humans who have been raised by Bigfoot out there. That'd be pretty cool.
That sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
You should make that movie.
Yeah, it'd be the new Sharknado.
Yeah. The Bigfoot Squad.
Oh yeah.
The Sasquatch.
Ah, no, that was bad.
You accept it.
All right, SB. What is your last topic before we get on to our other little mini shout-outs?
My last topic is actually one of the first cryptid I could say that I can remember ever reading about. It was around like the second or third grade. I was in the library. I picked out a book. I loved reading, and like there was just this book called either it was called Cryptids or Cryptozoology, and it was like one of those big books that you get. I don't know if you've ever seen it, like the big books of planes and all that shit.
Yeah,
like picture books and all that shit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It was exactly like that. I picked it up. I opened it to a random page, and what I saw was the Mongolian death worm. Ooh. And this has stuck to me ever since. I mean, I haven't really been investigating it too much on my own, but it's a pretty interesting cryptid. So I just want to start off by saying that there is no physical evidence of this Mongolian death worm, but a lot of people like to believe that it is real because there are many eyewitness reports. There are so many eyewitness reports, and I think I'll get into that a little bit in my report. But with that said, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
It sounds like a fantastic, lethal creature that might be found in a 1950s pulp science fiction novel. But some people believe that a large, deadly, worm-like creature called the Mongolian death worm exists in the Gobi Desert. According to British biologist Carl Schuker in his book *The Unexplained: An Illustrated Guide to the World's Paranormal Mysteries*, one of the world's most sensational creatures may be concealed amid the sands of the southern Gobi Desert. It is said to resemble a large fat worm, up to 1 meter, that's 3 feet, long and a dark red color, and with spike-like projections at both ends. It spends much of its time hidden beneath the desert sand, but whenever one is spotted lying on the surface, it is scrupulously avoided by the locals. According to the legend, the dreaded Mongolian death worm, which local people call Ogoikarkali, I can't say that, or loosely translated, the large intestine worm, has lived up to its name. It can kill in several fearsome ways, including spitting a stream of corrosive venom that is lethal to anyone it hits, and if that doesn't do the trick, it is said to be able to electrocute its victims from a distance. So a lot of people associate it more with an eel because of its mentioned electricity, and a lot of people like to say it's not a worm per se, it's a lizard, an undiscovered lizard species or a snake. Mongolian nomads believe the giant worm covers its prey with acidic substance that turns everything to a corroded yellow color. Legend says that as the creature begins to attack, it raises half of its body out of the sand and it starts to inflate until it explodes, releasing the lethal poison all over the unfortunate victim. The poison is so venomous that the prey dies instantly. Livestock and humans are supposed to be its main prey. Because Mongolia had been under Soviet control until 1990, very little was known about the death worm in the West. In recent years, investigators have been able to look for the evidence of the creature's existence, but none has been found. Many people have gone out, big expeditions, because really there was no democracy in Mongolia until recently, so nobody was able to get into the country. But now that they can, a lot of people have gone in there and they have found nothing, other than eyewitness reports.
So, you think that this could just be some sort of local legend that goes around?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or it could have existed at one point and could have been hunted to extinction?
That too.
Given the terrifying reports from the eyewitnesses, I could see why it might have been hunted to extinction. But then again, most lore is overly exaggerated.
Yeah, more than some of it is fucking just bullshit.
I just got one question about the Mongolian death worm.
Go ahead and ask.
This goddamn Mongolian death worm knocked down my shitty wall?
Yes, it did.
Goddamn Mongolians!
Imagine that, the Chinese just fearing this Mongolian death worm. God
Imagine like controlling this creature and making it your own.
Let's see how your wall stands up to something that can burrow underground.
And shock you and then throw poison at you that'll kill you instantly.
That just sounds like some sort of overkill.
Yeah, for real. Like, what kind of defensive techniques are those?
Like,
it has like the 2 spikes at the end, at both ends.
This thing just sounds sadistic. No wonder why they hunted it to extinction if they still did.
Sounds like a video game boss, if anything.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'd get to the end of a level in Dark Souls and it'd just be there waiting for me. Mongolian Deathworm.
Yeah, make sure to save before then.
Huh, I wonder if there's any Mongolian Deathworms in video games. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Not that I can see. Alright, cool. So just to summarize that last part. Ivan McCarley, one of the leading Loch Ness Monster detectives, studied the region and interviewed many Mongolian people about the worm. Due to the sheer volume of sightings and strange deaths, he came to the conclusion that the deathworm has to be more than just a legend.
So it could definitely have existed at one point.
Definitely, but since nobody was able from the West was able to enter Mongolia until around 1990, maybe around that time it might have gone extinct and nobody was able to see it. But a lot of people in Mongolia believe it's real.
So maybe they did hunt it to extinction or damn near extinction. There could still be some that are still alive.
Either that or it's just bullshit. Like in South Korea, like a lot of people believe in fan death. Have you ever heard of that?
Who believe in what?
Fan death.
Fanda?
Yeah.
No,
a lot of Koreans believe that if you leave the your fan on overnight, it'll steal your breath away and you'll die. You'll suffocate.
Oh, I sleep with a fan on. Whoops.
So yeah. So it like I said, it could be bullshit. It could actually be real. Either way, I don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah, that's something I don't think I want to fuck with either.
But I'll tell you what you can fuck with. If you want to fuck with me, go on my Twitter and come at me, because I don't give a fuck, alright?
Espy's just trying to pick a fight.
I am. Like, I'm in a internet arguing mood.
I mean, I'm not gonna do anything, because probably once we're done recording this, I'm probably gonna hit the hay.
Come at me. Come at me. Okay. So, now that we have all our topics down, all of our subjects, you have another mini one, don't you?
Yeah, I have at least 2 more mini ones I did want to cover.
Okay, so bonus. So
Alright.
Hopefully I get this before October, but if I don't get it up before October, then this is our first one. Bonuses for October.
Woo! Alright, this is another one that comes straight from my home state of Michigan. The Legend of the Melonheads. Now, these stories have been going around for years, long before I was born. Up in the woods near the towns of Saugatuck and Bridgman, there are mutated beings known as melonheads, mostly because of their small bodies and disproportionately and they have fucking huge heads.
Okay.
I don't have the mental capacity for big words right now.
Right.
Anyway, local children were warned not to venture to the forest, or else they'd be attacked by these vicious little monsters, which, according to local lore, they could kill humans, and they were cannibals.
Right.
They were cannibals, and they hate all of us normals. It's they hate all of us because of the twisted way they once treated a mysterious institution known as the Junction Insane Asylum. It was there that experiments were conducted on unfortunate children that led to the horrid physical and mental conditions that the melonheads now suffer. But this is an actual rare disorder. This is an actual disorder. It's the condition is called hydrocephalus, which causes large pockets of fluids to form within the brain. And due to this, the melonheads suffered severe physical and mental retardation due not only to this disease, but also to their brains being experimented on by those whose care they were in. So, at this insane asylum, they were tortured and experimented upon. So basically, once this institution was shut down, they were set free into the woods. Apparently, some stories also claim that they killed the doctor that was so mean to them and tortured them, and ate his body. So
Yikes.
basically, they supposedly live in Felt Mansion. There have been reports of people seeing shadows up in the upper floors and the lower floors, and blinds just moving quickly back like someone was peeking out and didn't want someone to see. Yeah, there is a lot of lore behind this, and it was a little special mention just because it's from Michigan. I'm from Michigan, and it was one of my favorite stories reading about as I was growing up. But as far as the cannibalistic melon heads of Saugatuck, I don't believe those existed. Now, those who suffer from the medical condition hydrocephalus, yes, those people exist, of course.
Right.
But yeah, this is just a local legend that I grew up reading, and it has a very, very special connection with me. So I wanted to share that.
Alright, anything else?
And my girlfriend wanted to mention mermaids.
Mermaids, okay. Are you gonna cite one of your sources as that bullshit mermaid documentary that Discovery did a couple years back?
Oh yeah, of course, dude.
The one that everybody fucking believed, and they were like, "Oh my god, mermaids are real."
Yeah, they did one with dragons. I mean, I know it wasn't real, but I mean, I agree with some of the things that if mermaids did exist, they wouldn't be the skinny, long hair flowing.
No.
We are depicted. They would be, depending on what part of the ocean they lived
But they
in.
were, if I remember correctly, they were more like ape-like, weren't they?
Yes, they are more ape-like instead of fish-like.
And the other thing, oh yeah, they also did a mockumentary, as it's called, on Megalodon as well too, right?
Mm-hmm. Megalodon, I do believe that Megalodon can still exist. We have discovered more of space than our own oceans, and I mean, still have the entire Pacific Ocean. Who's to say that a prehistoric, huge-ass monster shark did not survive?
I hope it does. That sounds like just an awesome thing. Like, I don't go in the ocean because fuck the ocean. I'm afraid of that shit, but honestly, like, if we discovered something huge like that, that would be fucking awesome.
Yep, whoever discovered it would be a very rich individual. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
We were mentioning mermaids.
Yes, mermaids. I do agree with some of the stuff that they talked about in that mermaids mockumentary. That if mermaids did exist, they wouldn't be like what Disney has fed us and other media outlets have fed us. They would be scaled depending on what part of the ocean they lived in. They would have retained a little fat, like mermaids that live up in the Arctic, up in the North Pole, or more near down the South Pole. They would be a little chubbier than their cousins in the coral reef by Australia.
Right.
I don't know. There is a lot of lore behind mermaids. One of my favorite lores about mermaids is from Odysseus. I do believe sirens and mermaids are pretty much the same thing. And correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought you were gonna say your favorite lore was Little Mermaid. I was about to smack you.
Alright, there are two different creatures. Sirens were beautiful yet dangerous creatures who lured nearby sailors with their enchanting music and voices to shipwreck on the rocky coast of their island.
Right.
Yeah, mermaids, though, I do know one. She's a redhead.
Shout out to Andy, who came out in our Aliens episode whenever that comes out.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that up soon.
Yeah.
I do believe that just wraps up my rants and my my reports on different cryptids. Espy, do you have anything else to add?
I do have a couple of things to add. If you are interested in cryptids and you want to learn more than the ones that we just explained, I have a couple of suggestions of cryptids that are kind of scary. Please look up Goatman.
Goatman.
Right, who can also be classified as a meme or a skinwalker, whichever one you wanna go for. Any other ones you may recommend? Mothman. I forgot about that one.
Of course.
Shout out to Mothman. I've heard that story a million times, so just reiterating it would just be boring.
Yes, there's one that I didn't talk about tonight. That's another legend from Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
Le Nain Rouge, that cursed red dwarf. It's a little story from Detroit, which might explain why the city is in such turmoil. Le Nain Rouge. We'll post that in the description. At least the name, at least. And these stories. Yeah, I believe beyond that we are pretty much done for the evening. Please post in the comments below if you would like to discuss or have any suggestions for any future episodes. Me and Espy will be looking through those, and we will take any and all suggestions very seriously, as long as they pertain to cryptozoology, UFOlogy, and just the supernatural and paranormal itself.
Anything paranormal would do. If you want us to watch certain movies, documentaries, if you want us to maybe review something, which is something that I honestly want to do in the future, or if you agree with me, I think we should have like maybe a movie night where we both watch a scary movie, then talk about it at the end of it.
Yeah, that'd be fun actually.
Or documentaries and stuff like that. Conspiracy theories, if you want us to get into that, I'm down with that, because I like hearing both ends of a story. Even though maybe I don't necessarily believe in something, I will respect any belief that you may have, and treat it with like respect. My bad for saying it again. When investigating into it. So with that said, it's plug time. If my very annoying Twitter plugs from earlier didn't get you to follow us on Twitter, please follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/UNE Spooky Hour. That is twitter.com/UANDE SPOOK Hour HOUR.
And if you didn't pay attention to any of that, we'll also post links in the description below.
Right. And of course our Facebook, if you have that. Do you have that?
Yes, I do. Let me just pull it up. Alright, that is facebook.com/Umbry and Espy Spooky Hour.
Alright then.
And we'll be posting any updates and whatnot on the Facebook page as well as our Twitter.
Yes, we will. And we apologize again for sounding so tired, but hey, it's like almost the middle of the night for me, and it's definitely like 2 a.m. for Art, so.
Yep. Alright, I believe that just wraps us up.
Forgot about that. Thank you, everybody, and good night, and have a very spooky morning, evening, night, but just make sure it's spooky.
Good night, faithful listeners, and just remember, stay spooked. And just look forward to October. We got a lot of great things planned. It's gonna be huge, as presidential candidate Donald Trump says.
It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.